This is the reading room of the Library of Congress. Its architecture serves as a physical catalog for a modern obsession, the protection and ownership of written concepts. Processing the 1965 U.S. copyright renewals requires massive bureaucratic effort to maintain state-sanctioned ownership of thought. Diogenes of Sinope encountered the ancient precursors to these archives and rejected their entire logical framework. When Hegeias asked to borrow his writing tablets, Diogenes accused him of choosing painted figs over real ones, valuing theoretical rules over direct ethical action. Diogenes left no surviving texts because for a cynic, a life lived constitutes the only valid philosophical work. A society fixated on owning theoretical text remains disconnected from natural truth, necessitating a radical physical rebellion to restore reason. This is Plato, the primary representative of Athenian theoretical philosophy. He famously categorized Diogenes as a Socrates gone mad. This diagnosis ignores Diogenes' hyper-rationality. He simply pushed Socratic ethics to their absolute physical limits. His practice began by adulterating Cyanopian coinage. This targeted nomos, convention, exposing its distance from nature. Destroying the currency destroyed the artificial value of wealth. Reaching nature requires the active destruction of societal currency. This madness is a mathematically strict application of reason. Cynicism utilizes ascesis, a rigorous training or asceticism, to build absolute self-sufficiency. Diogenes initiated a specific stage of this training after observing a child drink water using only their bare hands. He looked at the ceramic bowl he carried and identified an unnecessary dependency. Relying on external objects creates vulnerability to fortune. He shattered the bowl, removing one more variable from his pursuit of virtue. This physical training produces results that traditional theoretical academies cannot replicate. Cynic poverty functions as an engineered state of peak operational efficiency against the unpredictability of fate. Diogenes brought this training to the public spaces of Athens. He lived in a pithos, a clay storage jar, right in the center of civic life. Modeling the mouse, he required no conventional shelter. His presence asserted a new logic. Acts not shameful in private cannot be made shameful in public. He ate his meals in the middle of the stoa. When reproached for violating custom, he replied he simply ate where he felt hunger. He mocked the arbitrary nature of convention by noting that stretching out a middle finger causes an accusation of madness, while stretching out a little finger does not. To Diogenes, enduring the mud and the rain is a rational choice when compared to the irrational friction of societal conventions. Cynic theatricality served as a tool for public education. Diogenes carried a lit lantern in broad daylight, telling bypassers he searched for a human being. He was searching for a rational agent, someone whose conduct followed right reason rather than social pressure. Without the guidance of reason, humans resemble animals, requiring a halter or a leash. This demand for functional truth led to a direct confrontation with the abstract definitions of the Platonic school. Plato had defined a human being as a featherless biped, a definition that received widespread applause. Diogenes walked into the lecture room and dropped a plucked chicken on the floor, announcing, "Here is Plato's human being." The Academy responded by adding "having broad nails" to their theoretical definition. These provocations acted as precision strikes against any knowledge that failed to serve an ethical purpose. The homeless exile eventually stood face to face with the man who had conquered the known world. This is Alexander the Great. When he stood over Diogenes and asked what he could do for him, the philosopher simply asked the king to move out of his sunlight. Having stripped away property and status, the cynic sage remains immune to the leverage of kings. This immunity persisted even when Diogenes was captured by pirates and sold as a slave. On the auction block, he advertised his primary skill as the ability to govern men. After his purchase by Xeniades, the slave became the master, educating his owner's sons and forcing the household to follow his ascetic example. Sovereignty rests in the complete eradication of the fear of loss. The cynic model equates a life lived in accord with reason to a life lived in strict accord with nature. This alignment bypasses the bureaucratic boundaries of the state. The exterior of the Library of Congress represents the modern fortress of convention, a structure built on the painted figs Diogenes warned against. Diogenes maintained a final defensive posture against the tragedies of existence. To fortune, he opposes courage, to convention, nature, and to passion, reason.